Driving along in this McCormick, and you could hear some clinking, and the bolts that hold this reverse lever on came out. Gotta tear the whole steering wheel and dash apart to get to the bolts on the back side there. Fun. Cut it all apart, got to the back side, and one of the bolts fell down in there somewhere, and I'm not going to tear it all apart to get to it. Maybe see it with the camera is pretty good. Nope, not going to tear the rest of it apart. I'll find a new bolt. It's quite a process to put 2 bolts in a reverser lever. There, 45 minutes later, tore apart, shifter's in place, it's all back together. Pain in the butt for 3 little screws. Feeding some hay here at Snowshoe, and this bale was left over from last year, so it's 2-year-old hay. A lot of people say there's a lot of spoilage and stuff to hay just sitting out, but this was a top bale, and as you can see, I mean, we're not even 2 or 3 inches down into it, and it's green. Looks like you just baled it almost. And this was one of the rainier, snowier years we've had, so it sat through a lot of moisture, and yeah, quality's still really good. You lose a little bit on top, but even on the very top, not into it 3 inches and it's green again. So just feeding cows this morning. It's the day before the cold. It was 5 degrees this morning, and at Snowshoe there's a pretty nasty east wind. So I'm gonna actually triple feed. I've got 3 meadows up here, and I'll feed where the cows are now, and then in 2 other meadows. So then on these next 2 really cold days, all I'll have to do is drive up and open the gate. I won't have to start a tractor in the cold and depend on it running. So that'll be kind of nice. And these cows, they'll just wander to the next field and start eating. I feed most of our hay. We feed with these bale spinners. They're just a hydraulic unroller. So you stab the bale, and then you unroll it, basically like a roll of toilet paper. And we also have a processor that we feed at the Betsy place with, and then during calving we feed with that too. It's just a little bit quicker and get the hay out better. And then if you got tough hay, it chops it up. But these spinners are just cheap to build and run. For a processor, new processor's $30,000 I think, and I build these spinners for probably have 2,500 into them, so they're a lot more economical and efficient. But we do like the processor for some rough feed or that triticale hay. They eat it a lot better behind the processor. So it's just kind of how we feed here, all round bales. Every now and then we'll buy some square bales if we have to, but everything that we put up and feed is pretty much round bales. Talked about the cold and winter coming. Well, it came. We got not a lot of snow, maybe 2 or 3 inches, and the wind blew a bunch of it away. But it was right now at 9:30, still 24 below, with a pretty nasty east wind. My Puma tractor, Case Puma, with the processor that Cooper feeds with, wouldn't start this morning. So we had to put a battery charger on it and finally got it going. And then the hydraulics were mad and the electronics, but let it warm up for a while. So he's finally feeding. I don't think my dad's tractor is going to start, so we'll probably feed for him. And right now I'm going up to Snowshoe to open the gate and let my cows to feed. So I won't have to start my tractor, luckily. But it's cold. It's supposed to be colder tomorrow. I think it's, today's the cold day. It's only supposed to get up to 20 below today, but at least tomorrow I think it gets up to 4 above. So it's been one of those mornings, I said earlier, it's 28 below and east wind, so it's snowshoe. Cows all huddled around the haystack. Broke a panel down, so I had to get those out. And then they didn't want to follow to the new feed ground where I fed them ahead of time, so I ended up having to start a tractor anyway to clean up the stack mess. Cooper got our cows fed and then had to feed Dad's because his tractor wouldn't start, and ended up breaking a hydraulic hose. So he went to Helena to get one of those. I'm in Deer Lodge now. Luckily, this McCormick, which is usually really cold-blooded, started up and seems to be running fine. So I'm going to feed all the yearling heifer calves and the 2-year-olds that are over here, and then get that tractor fixed in Avon, and I think we'll have one more bunch of cows to feed for Dad. So it's going to be a long day. It's 2 in the afternoon and it's still only 24 below, so it's a cold one. Some days are like this, though. So like I was saying, this McCormick tractor is usually cold-blooded. It used to be way worse, so this is a DEF tractor. And if it got below about 5 degrees, it was tough to start. It wouldn't run good. If it was much below 0 or 5 below, you'd get about 45 minutes from home, and then the sensor would go off and tell you that your DEF was frozen, and it would shut you down. It happened to me about 3 times, and finally just kind of gave up on using this tractor when it was cold, which was unfortunate. You got a new tractor that you can't even use when it's cold. So I found somebody that would delete the DEF on it, and now it's way better. It'll at least stay running when it's cold. It still doesn't like it a lot. The sensors in it will trip when it's cold sometimes, but now it at least runs. So that's why I have no other DEF tractors, and this one is deleted. I don't know, all this emission stuff is supposed to be saving the environment and helping us, but I don't know what it's doing. My emissions truck gets 6 miles to the gallon less than my pre-emissions truck. The tractors, I mean, we dump 10 to 15 gallons of DEF in these swathers in the summertime, so I don't know really what we're saving by throwing away all those plastic jugs, having to burn DEF. It just seems like a unnecessary thing, just to reduce a little bit of emissions. I think with our exhausts and catalytic converters and stuff, I think we can do it as clean as we need to without all this added stuff that is nothing but a headache. That's my 2 cents for this cold day. Here we are, Saturday morning, another cold one. My house thermometer must only go to 40 below because that's as cold as it would go. This truck says 33 below and has been stuck there, so I think that's as low as it'll go. And then a neighbor, one had 45 below and another one had 50 below. One was on a mercury thermometer, and one must be a better digital one, so it's cold, but at least there's no wind like yesterday. But Snowshoe just opening a gate to let these cows to some more feed. They didn't eat that much yesterday. I think they spent most of the morning hunkered down behind the brush, so they're out eating on yesterday's feed ground, and they'll find their way to today's. Our tractor with the processor won't start, put the battery booster charger on it at 7 this morning, tried it again at 9 and no go. So I'm going to see if this older case at Snowshoe that usually will start will fire up, and then if that one won't go by 10:30 or 11, we'll have to come get this one as a backup to feed Dad's cows and my cows at Benson's. Another cold one, but we were wondering if winter would ever come, and it's here, and now it's no fun. We're in the shed here at Snowshoe. Gonna see if we can do a cold start. Well, not a true cold start, it's plugged in, but everyone on YouTube you see it talking about we're gonna cold start this. Well, we're almost 50 below, and let's see if this old case will fire up. Touch me. Don't think it's gonna go. Started get pretty good at 25 below yesterday, but don't think today. No go. Cows are all out grazing on the feed ground this morning. I'll move to the next one here pretty soon. Took about 2 hours of jumping and playing with it, but finally got this tractor to run. Now we can get some cows fed. Monday morning, we're on day 4 of this cold. It's supposed to be only like 5 to 10 below this morning. Woke up and it was 35 below. Now it's 33 in the truck. Luckily I double fed cows, so I just had to open this gate and let them to feed so I don't have to start this tractor. Got Cooper's tractor running this morning, so he's off feeding, and these cows will all see each other and find their way to the hay. They saw each other, now they're on the run. We survived the cold snap and got through it. Just a little bit of trouble. Cows all did good. Tractors were a pain a couple days to get started, but it all worked out. Now this next week's supposed to be in the 40s, so this winter's kind of weird. No snow, cold, warm, and all over the place. Betsy and I got away along with Cooper and Mandy for 3.5 days over to Helena. We attended the Young Egg Couples Conference. It's a lot on succession planning and information for young couples getting going and ranches that want to transition, so it was a good time. Betsy and I was there last year and then came back as steering committee couples is what they call it, so it was a good time to just get away for a little bit. Thanks to Dad and neighbor Johnny J who fed the cows for us. So thanks for watching and tune in next time.